what's right for this school system and these children. We're stuck in a hard spot right now. We're going to need a lot of help. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Chris McKinney,
Here.
Chris Satterfield,
Here.
Carla Willis. Here. Sorry, Skip
Here.
Willis. Terry Warnica.
Here. First, we have presentation and approval of minutes for the regular session meeting and the executive session meeting held April 14th, 2026, and the executive sessions held April 20th, 26, and April 30th, 2026.
Make the motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. Presentation of financial outlook. Okay.
So over the last March, April, May, I've been reviewing pieces of our financial outlook and tried to break it down because it is quite a bit to sort through. So this is the final one that I have planned right now. Who knows, maybe a surprise in June, but not that it's ready yet. So last time we talked about operations, this time we're going to talk about the education fund. This is our, and again, parts of this came from the slideshow that we had to present to the DUAP board, but I added a little bit more detail for us. So the enrollment data goes back to 2010, and it's projected up through the 2030-31 school year. Because of where we are currently at with our declining enrollment, the orange bars show a continued decrease of 2% per year. We're hoping to get that turned around. These were highlighted a few of our dips where we may have dropped and maybe what caused it, like when Hoosier Energy shut down, when Otwell closed, but after Otwell closed, we didn't have as big a hit as we had anticipated. We were able to bring back teachers. Later, the charter school opened, some of the laws changed as far as open transfer rules. AES currently is working through some things as well. So again, we know that it all impacts where our families are. This is something that's very unique. If you're not familiar with Pike County, I know the majority of you here are. But in order to show DUAB and the people on their board, which is primarily Central Indiana, we wanted to show the layout of our county, the key areas where our schools are located. Right now, from 2024 and 25, we have uncaptured funding of over $2.9 million. That came from students who transfer out of the county. So they show up as residing legal settlement in Pike County, but they do not attend school in Pike County School Corporation in one of our buildings. The top ones in terms of the transfers out were at Clarksville, Southwest DuBois, Greater Jasper, East Gibson, and Union School Corporations. Clarksville, I think, is part of an online school. Then the others that would be any kind of charter or public transfer, we have the two primary ones are Otwell Miller Academy and the Indiana Connections Academy, which is an online school. We really, compared to this, the choice scholarship is pretty low impact for us. This is probably, to me, very significant if you are looking at, if you're not familiar with the county. So if I'm a student and I live over here by Hazleton, I can be in North Gibson in 12 miles. It's 25 miles to Pike Central, okay? So South Knox is just across the river here. Washington Community Schools, only 13 miles from Petersburg. You have the Jasper Schools, you got Southwest DuBois down in this corner. Warren County Schools, East Gibson. Again, because of how our county is spread out, how large it is, and then the location of our schools, it just, as they took away, as the state dissolved the transfer tuition rule, it opened it up for families to take their kids across the line. There's no extra fees being paid if you go to one of these surrounding districts, and in many cases, you can be in that school district more quickly than you can back here in one of our buildings. So it's a challenge. We faced it for a long time. I think in part, what has also continued to help us is most of our residents had pride in where they had attended school and they wanted their kids to go there. Or as they left the county to go outside the county for work, the schools were convenient to drop off their kids. But as some of that has shifted, then so does enrollment. Okay. So for the education fund, the budget relies on primarily on ADM. This slide was shown last month as well. So education, as you can see, the education fund's a big chunk of our budget. The debt service is smaller, and then the operations. The assessed value has increased significantly. And as I've pointed out before, and I know you've heard me say it, a large part of that is due to some of the development that has come about with the solar fields, the additional projects taking place now at AES as they transition. All those factors have helped increase our AV. As our assessed value increases, tax rates can remain where they are, remain stable, or they can decrease. So the education fund primarily counts on state tuition support money. Within these categories, we have the ADM basic grant accounts for 86% of the education money. Academic progress grant, which are like your core 40 academic honors, technical honors diplomas, is less than 1%. You guys can't see it from way back there, but it's a little bitty tiny red line between the yellow and the blue. Special education grant is 10% of the money. That's actually the green one. The blue one is the CTE grant, which is 4% of the education fund. And then again, less than 1% is our non-English speaking students or ELL students. So as we're looking at this, it's like last time we talked about how property taxes can be used to increase some of our funds or any of the other revenue sources that we have for the operations fund. I don't have that ability with education. This is solely relying on the enrollment and what the students, how they're registered, or how the diploma they complete, or any of the courses they complete with CTE. So again, this is heavily reliant on our students and what our students are doing. The staffing trend, the green at the top is our admin, the orange are our aides, instructional assistants, and the blue is our teachers. We've held fairly steady. I mean, you can see a little bit of a shift, but even as some of the enrollment has shifted, we haven't fluctuated too much. The other thing we always have to remind folks that yes, we know when there's fewer students, you might need fewer teachers, but the state has also added certain conditions for us. We have to have a reading specialist. We worked with the literacy coach program. We were able to add a math specialist. We're required to offer computer science. So again, there's things that come into play that is driven by the state as well, not just our enrollment. So this was the 2025 graph of the education fund. Expenses are orange, revenue is blue, and this was where our balance was running. This was the transfer of the GEO-bond money, which helped bring us to life a little bit. As you can see, there's several months where the expenses were exceeding the revenue, and that's one of the things we're trying to get turned around. The other part on education, if you recall, on the operations, we get our property tax money in June and December. So we get a spike of a big deposit, and then we spend for 6 months, and then we get another big deposit. With education, it's contingent on the different reports that the state does. So there's actually an ADM count in October and February that will affect how much we're getting each month. The CTE money, that report is due in October. That affects how much we get. Special ed report is in December, that affects. So what the state does is they work on a projection. They start out the year, so July, August, September. They give us what they think we're going to get, Like this year, it started out at 1.1 million each month. After the numbers were trued up, it dropped down to 900,000, $200,000 loss. So then it might come back up a little bit if something increased, but if it didn't, then we have another loss. And we, of course, if they've overpaid us, we have to pay it back. So there's always that balance in there. Right now, we're projecting for 26 a monthly payment of $1 million. Given where we've fluctuated, that's not a bad estimate, but would love to see it increase. So just with the projection, we know there could be some times, especially prepayments or special things that hit our calendar, that the expenses might go high a little bit. But we're hoping by the time we get to the end of the year for 26, we are going to have more revenue than we have expenses. We are allowed to do an operations to education transfer. We only do that when needed. Many other districts do education to operations. We do the reverse because our operations is a little more solid than the education fund. This was the LSA projections back in April when the session ended. They were predicting that our estimated ADM was 1489, and it would drop a little bit to 1453 and then to 1420. We're currently at 1450. They also like to say in the legislature that we got a 2% increase. As you can see, we have a negative here, we have a negative here. That, of course, ends up in a drop in the complexity index money. Even though there was a slight increase because of the offsetting of the 2%, we ended up with a loss on complexity. By the time we get down, they're saying 2.8 increase. Well, none of these numbers are right because with the decline in enrollment, we didn't get the amounts that they said right here. The other part is over 200,000 had to come out for curricular materials because while it's great for the families if they don't have to pay textbook rental anymore, the state no longer gave us extra money to help cover that. So it had to come out of this regular payment. So here's where they were projecting. Once you take in all of the different categories, the academic progress, special ed, CTE, so on, this is what they're saying we're getting per student. Again, it didn't quite come out that way. We actually ended up, we're higher than 24-25, we're lower than what they projected for 25-26. As you can see, they projected 12.9 million. We got 12.4, just under 12.5. So, okay. Legislative impact on the education fund. The curriculum materials is the big one. The 2% increase was based on stable ADM, which we did not have. We actually lost 0.86% in 26 and 0.94 in projected to lose in 27 unless that ADM comes back up. So overall with the enrollment, we lost just over 400,000. CTE programs changed. So maybe a class that we used to get as an introductory and get $150 for every student, they no longer offer that. There's others, as long as the job is high wage, high demand, we could get $1,200 per credit hour for students. But if that changes in the occupational outlook, that could go down to 800. So those things are all decided by the state and other commission, not just what we want to sign up for. Enrollment, again, these funding changes for special ed will vary. And then with enrollment, those things are going to take a hit because we had fewer students. So right now, one of the things we're trying to do is increase enrollment. We started a marketing campaign. So see, Dylan, I already had that in there before I knew you were coming tonight. But we did reach out to Dylan. He will give us an update on some things we're doing. We do have the billboard out by I-69. And a lot of it is also the social media presence. The things that are being posted by all the schools right now about the positive things, the kids having fun, the achievements they're making, the robotics competitions, the Skills USA achievements. again, those are things we just need to keep talking up about our schools, because we do have a lot of good things going on here. We need to look at trying to come up with ways to reduce expenses. So right now, as individuals have left, we're looking very closely at whether or not we need to replace them. So we do have several positions that we're absorbing going into 26, 27. We'll continue to watch our salary and benefits and our programs. We have been talking about an operating referendum. We did not ever want to say that word again. It wasn't successful in 2015. But the state is pushing us to a point that we are having to give serious consideration to it. They've made it very challenging with the way the question has to be worded and the way the information is presented. But if we don't, the board has not yet voted. They have not made a definite decision on that. They would have to decide by the June meeting if they're going to pursue the referendum. If they choose to, or if they don't choose to, then they cannot even attempt another referendum until the fall of 28. We can no longer do referendums in the spring. They have to be in a general election. So it's got to be like 26, 28, 2030. So one of the considerations we have to think about as a board is if we don't pursue this, can we make it without that additional funding for 2 more years? And again, that's looking at everything that we've done, everything that's gone into place, and our projected expenses. And we'll see. There is a capital referendum, but it's really hard to try and present to everybody why we're wanting to build something whenever we've got some of the enrollment things going on, and we do still have a lot of basic needs within the school. So again, this is where we've been talking about right now. State, if you listen at all to education chatter, you keep hearing that the state wants small schools to consolidate. In Pike County, I'm not sure who we'd consolidate with. We don't have 4 districts within our county. It's just us. So if there would be a consolidation pushed by the state, we would have to cross county lines. And that has a whole unique set of special circumstances. So on the one hand, I feel like we're kind of safe from that talk, but they are really, especially the DUAP board in the review of the finances, they're really pushing hard to make sure about how we're utilizing the space that we have. Do we have too much wasted space, and what should it look like? So again, these are not up here to panic everybody. It's so that people know we are trying. We are looking and trying to make decisions that will be the best for the school corporation and maintain financial solvency.
Currently, do you know roughly how many schools in Indiana are doing a referendum for the fall?
Baker Tilly and Ice Miller are working between 30 and 40, but knowing, there's other firms, I still have heard between 75 and 100.
And how many school corporations are there?
300,
So possibly about a third.
no, yeah. I stopped there after that because I'm like, is it 300 high schools or 300 districts?
Yeah,
But
with what we're
300
looking at
districts.
with all
But
the
yeah,
state
I think it's
legislation.
roughly a third are looking at. And some of them are renewing a referendum.
Already in
Again,
place.
because of some of the changes that are coming about in 27 and 28, they want to go ahead and get it grandfathered in now.
Maybe that would send a message, one would think.
One would think.
So Senate Enrolled Act 1, you'll hear a lot about that. You may hear county government officials talk about it as well. But it really doesn't affect the education very much. It would be an indirect impact because any of the things where it causes some of our operations or fund to go down or decrease in some of their funding revenue, that decreases our ability to do an operations to education transfer. So the end of year cash balance, look at this in a positive way. Every one of those bars is above 0, okay? We are finishing in the black. It's a positive balance. Would we like to see a bigger positive balance? Sure. But we have been very careful trying to maintain and stay in the right direction. even whenever it causes your hair to turn gray or fall out. You guys have any questions?
Do we know how many corporations are under DUAB right now?
No.
There's no way of knowing, right?
So they're allowed to
The
stay
guys are-
confidential if they want, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a school corporation can say, but they can't really
Post a list.
say much. We did have a conversation with Brian Hartman. I know I've mentioned his name to you guys a little bit as maybe a transition, to have some support and help with the finances. He's very good. And he's commented that, some of the schools that he's worked with are stable. They're doing fine. But they got a letter from DUAP. And so then they got to DUAP said, well, you questioned this, but here's this. And they're like, oh, okay. And so there's a really new makeup to that board. And I think they're still trying to figure out what's what. Unfortunately, part of it's with us. So. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you. No, I just think it was good to get some of this out, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. That was up there.
Next is review of finances reports.
Okay, we start off with the bank accounts. German American Bank has a balance of $2,384,318.27. Home Building Savings has $96,795.67. Total in the two bank accounts is $2,481,113.94. Following that page are the bank statements. Do you have any questions on the bank statements?
I have none.
Okay. So then we'll go into the fund reports. Currently, the balance in the education fund is $771,479. Debt service fund has a balance of $281,230. Operations has a balance of $1,133,428. The rainy day fund is down to $14,942. The GO bond of 2019 is $5,493. We did have zeroed out the smaller bond that we did last fall, the taxable bond. And then in a minute, we'll address the 2025 bond. After the fund report, the appropriations are there. And as you can see, we're not quite to June. So anything around the 40% mark would be on target. Again, few of the things that are only paid in, say, June and January or twice a year could show a higher percentage of use out of the appropriations. And then we have the report for the revenue, so you can see what has come in year to date and month to date. Following those pages, you have the cash projections. Started with the GO bond, the rainy day. Then you have the extended cash flows, and the format that it's now in is what DUAB has requested for monitoring. And then the last page is the affidavit that goes with our multi-building mortgage bond. And we have, shows what has been paid out, what the projects are, and that we still have a remaining balance in that account of $4,080,684.43. Do you have questions on any of the reports?
I have none.
I don't.
Okay.
All right. Next, we have approval of claims.
We have voucher number 22058 through 22195.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the claims. All in favor, raise your hand. I'll put one. All right. Approval of resolution for potential referendum.
So one of the first steps in preparing for the referendum is that we need some information from the county auditor. So you have the email from Ice Miller, Kristen McClellan. Then the resolution there is authorizing the administration regarding auditor certification. for potential referendum text levy. So that document, if you approve the resolution, then we will deliver the letter to Mrs. Gumbel, our county auditor, tomorrow.
And again, this doesn't mean that we have to
Doesn't
do
mean
it,
we
but it
have to.
gets them on the ball. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not all in favor, raise your hand.
Again, I want to emphasize that information is necessary so we can prepare the question and see what it shapes up. I also want to add that we will be launching the survey to the community. That was something you agreed on a couple months ago with Winston Terrell Group. We got it set up, ready to launch. And that will also give us some feedback in terms of are people receptive or not, and if so, how much. There are some other questions in the survey too, but it's only 10 questions, very brief.
Anything under other? Patron comments. Dylan Query.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, I just wanted to say, once again, thank you so much for the opportunity to get to go into the schools and have the opportunity to interview a lot of people and just capture some cool moments and some cool footage. Progress so far. I have completed about 10 production days. The original proposal accounted, that was what was requested, was about 10 production days. I'm probably going to be going over that because I still have one more filming day at Petersburg Elementary, and then I'm also still trying to make it to a couple different sporting events here and there just to cover the gaps. Production day, I think, is loose because I'm combining days. I might be out there for an hour or 2 hours, and I'm combining days together and trying to and make that work and efficiently. So far we're on track for the original proposed 8 videos, those videos being a pride of place video, college dual credit video, 2 CTE videos, a video focused on Petersburg Elementary, a video focused on Winslow Elementary, an athletics focused video, maybe a video on security, fine arts, and then I think what would also be good is just an overall commercial, okay? The CTE, the 2 proposed CTE videos, I think one of those needs to be put on hold until the fall time because you have a major renovation going on in the welding department, okay? And so I think it would be a great idea to interview Mr. Foster in a brand new renovated space that looks good on video. So that would be my recommendation, okay? And then working with Dana, Dana's been awesome to partner with and just bounce ideas off of. So that's been a really positive experience. Let's see here. Recommendations on strategy moving forward. Okay, I've heard a lot of stuff, and I just want you to know that I've heard a lot of positive things. You have a lot of teachers out there that are very optimistic and positive about the future, even amidst some negativity that's being passed around. Okay, a lot of your teachers are very humble. They're very humble about their day-to-day successes and a lot of the positive moments and things that are happening out there. My opinion, my recommendation moving forward is that you need to adopt a strategic and very aggressive social media strategy. Okay, and I think it needs to be a 2-pronged approach. I think the first prong is targeting students on the platforms that are going to make sense for them, those being Instagram, TikTok, and another prong, which would be targeting parents, the community, and just generally adults in the community on Facebook. That's where a lot of your adults are thriving and living these days. Okay. Yeah. With that, I just want to say the negativity is not going away. I know that social media is very frustrating. I know it seems like a necessary evil, but if you take a step back and you say, well, we're just going to let the people say what they're going to say and they're going to have their opinions and we're not going to do anything about it, you're not going to see any impact. We have to meet the people where they're at, and unfortunately, they're on social media. So what I'd recommend is you have a lot of these fantastic moments. I think it could be maybe a inter-school sort of focus where each school is kind of focused on taking more pictures, taking more videos, and sharing those more consistently on social media. I don't know exactly who's in charge of all the different pages, but you've got a lot of pages out there, right? You've got both the elementary schools, you've got the athletics page, you've got the school corporation page, right? You've got all these different pages, and there's no clear strategy. It's all over the place. And if all those pages are dark, when there is news and it's negative news, that's all the people are thinking about. They're coming home after a long day of work, okay? They're doing their thing, all right? They come home, they get on social media, and the first thing that they see is negativity. So I know it's frustrating that these people have these opinions, but they're living their lives and they're trusting their kids to be at school and they're trusting it to be a positive environment. And you can't blame them for only seeing the negative things when that's all that's being shared. Okay, so that's my little bit of criticism, all right? But I want you to know that it's, it's from a good place, all right? I have good intentions here. And then I think ultimately, I gotta say with the billboard, I think the billboards are a great idea moving forward. Just keeping your presence forefront of people's minds. I would recommend. I don't know if that was a stock image that you used on the billboard. I'm not sure. I'm guessing it was. I would recommend trying to use photos that are captured within your school system, even if that means bringing in a professional photographer. I think that's going to be more engaging, and especially if you have a parent and their kid is on the billboard, that's going to be a point of pride, and they're going to share that. So just trying to think about that from a positive perspective, okay? And then also with that aggressive, I'll leave you with this, with that aggressive social media strategy, if you are considering a referendum, you need to start working on public opinion as you already are, but now with an aggressive strategy. So, but there's hope. Like I said, the teachers are all very optimistic, and it's been an honor to get in there and interview. I think I've captured 22 interviews, and I have over 12 hours of footage from within each of the different schools. Okay, so it's been a good experience.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
From your perspective, when you were a student, you're a PC alum, was it different? Did you have a different, experience than you thought that you would have?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the thing that I kept saying to myself was, I wish that parents would take a tour of the school. I wish more parents would do that. And I think it's easy to, get a little frustrated with that. Like, well, I wish more parents were involved. I wish more parents were doing this. Life's busy, right? These parents, they're not coming at it with bad intentions. They're working, they're paying, for their family, they're taking care of their family. And they just don't have the time, or they're not taking the time. That's why you use social media, because that's their window into the schools. Okay. I will say, I've been considering, transparently, now that I have my own kids, my daughter's almost 3, turning 3 in July. And, for the last several years, my wife and I have been considering options, right? As all parents are. They have more options than they've ever had. And the question keeps popping up, right? Why Pike County School Corporation? And I will say that after spending many, many hours in the school system, I have been very positively impacted. And I would be honored to send my kids to the Pike County School Corporation.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, Dylan.
Anything under old business? Okay. New business, acceptance of donations.
We have a letter from, to accept a donation for Pike Central High School Swing Choir in the amount of $300 from Arthur General Baptist Church. We have a donation for the Pike Central High School Guidance Department, the amount of $25 from Jefferson Rutan. We have a donation for the high school's Skills USA and welding from Pike Collision in the amount of $150. We have donations for the swing choir from Gleason Revival Center in the amount of $508, and Petersburg First Baptist in the amount of $380. We have a donation from Sisson Steel in the amount of $500 for the welding team. We have a donation of $10,000 from Blackbot Giving Fund on behalf of Casey's Retail Store for Chris Kramer and his classroom to purchase weight room supplies, or classroom and weight room
Awesome.
supplies. We have a donation of $3,000 from Dollar General for Winslow Elementary summer reading. That was submitted by Stephanie Salee. And then we have our first quarter payment from German American Bank from the Spirit Card in the amount of $3,104.52.
Make a motion to accept donation.
I'll second that. Thank you. Big thank you.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. Yep, thank you. All right. Approval of overnight and/or out-of-state field trips.
The FFA sponsor, Daryl Klimper, is requesting permission to travel to Noblesville, Indiana for the state FFA convention in June. It's June 16th through 18th. So it is an overnight trip. He's noted that transportation and fuel is the only corporation expenses necessary.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All right. Approval of curricular material fees for 26-27.
Okay, Jen Defendahl has prepared the documents for you for the curricular material fees. And for, so anyway, that is in your packet for your approval.
Make a motion to approve the fees.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that? If not, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Approval of job description for the maintenance foreman.
We have a draft. There was some discussion after Max Deputy had retired and he was the maintenance supervisor, and we looked at some options. And the discussion was that we would like to have a maintenance foreman rather than a supervisor role. Some of the duties are slightly different, so you have a draft here of the job description for you to approve. And then if so, we will take care of getting it posted.
And this basically, we're just rolling into one. So I make a motion, we approve.
I'll second.
Any other discussion on that? Not, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. Approval of the revised PCSC evaluation plan, certified staff for 26-27.
So with some of the legislative changes, we had the option to adjust our corporation evaluation plan. We talked about it a year ago. Timing wasn't right as far as the start of school. So in the conversation, we did have a committee. The group is listed there, and as you can see, it's a combination of teachers and administrators. And I have for your approval the evaluation plan that they created. We do have some folks here who were on the committee if you have any specific questions to ask as well. We do think it's reflective of their evaluations, but aligned with the newer legislative requirements.
I'll make a motion to approve it, and a big thank you for all those on that committee to get this done.
And I'll second that. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Approval of agreement with Jewett Sports and Occupational Health for 26-27.
So we have a copy of the agreement, and there's no change from the current agreement. Total cost is $32,000, payable in 2 installments as outlined, which would be August 1st and January 1st.
We need them.
As I say, we've been very pleased with it.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Approval of agreement with the Pike County Redevelopment Committee.
The redevelopment committee had proposed putting together an agreement to discuss the, I guess in good faith, make sure the school understood that they were aware of our need as well in terms of financial impact from Senate World Act 1. By statute, corporation schools can ask for up to 15% of the TIF pass-through revenue. It is not an automatic guarantee of 15%. It can vary with whatever comes in or whatever other projects that they have. But basically, they created this agreement and approved it at April 20th meeting regarding that they are receptive to working with the school for consideration of the 15%, but then also if an agreed upon project comes up, that they would entertain the option for some of the capital line item as well.
I will say that TIF agreements are generally not good for school corporations in a whole, as a whole. They are good for the county. I will say that the redevelopment commission has, like Suzanne said, agreed to make us whole, that we will not lose any money than what we would have normally got for funding from taxes. And like she said, we can get up to 15% of whatever that TIF area brings in, and we asked for that. But they would not agree to it. We asked for it up front, not up front, but every year that came in, we asked for that 15% max that we could get, and they told us no. So we are at the mercy of them. We'll have to go back every year and ask them for that. We've been assured that they will work with us, and I believe that they will. But that was my concern on it. I wanted the people to know that we did ask for that. But with that, they did assure us that we would be made whole of what we would have normally gotten. So
we won't go down any.
we won't go down any. But what we'll have to do is, like I told one of the members, now we're going to have to beg every year for that 15%. For us on a budgeting aspect of it, it would be nice to say, hey, we're going to get that 15% every year. That's me. But we won't get that. We'll have to ask for that additional 15% every year, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
But I
that is
think-
correct.
and I
But
think-
that, as far as budgeting, that number's gonna change anyway.
Right,
you
but
know,
I mean,
based on
we
your
can-
80.
But it's estimated of what they're going to get, yeah.
Right.
But we would still have to, my point is, we know by law, the school corporation could collect up to 15% of that every year,
Right.
but we have to ask for it now. They're not going to just say, we'll give that to you every year. We'll have to ask for that, whether they give that to us or not, I don't know.
But
So-
they're also hoping that there's some capital projects that would
Benefit both.
benefit
Benefit
both
us.
parties.
Right, but again.
Like, and then
Yeah.
that's gonna kick up, you might even get more than 15%
And we
in
might.
that way.
We might.
Like the
The
sewer
key
project,
is we're not gonna lose anything.
you're not gonna lose
So-
anything. That's right.
And I will add, I think one of the considerations in this process as well is they're elected officials, you guys are elected officials. They felt like by having an agreement in place that no matter how
Who
either
comes?
body changed,
We can't
governing
lose
body,
what,
You can't.
you've
we
got some
can't,
stuff.
yeah, we can't lose what we would normally have gotten on taxes.
So we need a motion to move on. I'll make the motion to approve this.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand.
I abstain.
Abstain, okay. All right. Next is approval of roof repairs at Petersburg Elementary School.
So we have some areas of the flat roof that are needing to be worked on. Dave did reach out to 3 or 4 companies at the time of preparing the packet. The only one we had in hand was from Cragen. They have done several other small jobs for us, but this one, because of the size of it, is actually $23,530. It's under the threshold that I could approve it without your consent, but I don't do that. Not this close to the dollar amount,
And plus
so,
it's still out of our 25 bonds. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the roof repairs? If not, all in favor, raise your hand. All right. Anything under other?
No.
Okay, personnel, resignation, retirements, and leave of absence.
We have a letter from Kayla Wire, who works at Winslow Elementary, resigning her position there as literacy and math specialist or reading and math specialist effective June 30th. We have a letter from Marcia Mishler, who is an English Spanish teacher and an ELL teacher of record, who is resigning at the end of the 25-26 school year. We have a letter of request for a 1-year leave of absence from Tina Gullich, who teaches at Pike Central Middle School. So asking for your approval for the upcoming year.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. Hiring and appointments.
We have a recommendation from Mr. Kokenauer for summer school, recommending Cassie Craig as the instructor and Katina Bailey as the aide. Summer school classes are noted there, the days and the hours each day. We have a letter from Mr. Kokenauer asking for approval of Clark Gray as a long-term substitute teacher at Pike Central High School for the remainder of the school year. We have a letter from Mrs. Pancake recommending for the iRead summer school program at Petersburg Elementary, Hannah Young and Phoebe Davidson as the teacher and Kelsey Gidcombe as the aide. We have a letter from Dave Chestnut asking approval to hire 2 people to wash buses this summer. The hourly rate would be $15.53 an hour, and they would work 29 hours or less starting on June 1st. Sherry Small has submitted a request for some summer workers as well, partly because of some vacancies we have. So she's asking approval for Cameron Adams for part-time work, again, not to exceed 29 hours. He is 18 and a student at Pike Central. We have 3 others that will share split hours between the 40-hour vacancy, Melissa Brock, Bethany Gillespie, and Felicia Garney. And they will work between Pike Central and Petersburg or as needed at the buildings. We have from Dustin Powell some coaching recommendations. So I'm going to skip that one just a minute. Girls basketball, Kyle McCutcheon, head coach, full stipend. Jared Gideon, varsity assistant, full stipend. Andrew Taurus, JV coach, full stipend. 8th grade, Sean Warner, head coach, full stipend. 7th grade, Bob Collins, head coach, full stipend. 7th and 8th grade, Kinsey Warner would be a shared assistant, full stipend. 6th grade is Jared Benson, head coach, full stipend, and Hunter Elliott as assistant coach, 6th grade, full stipend. Football's JJ Howald, head varsity coach. Nathan Harker, varsity assistant. And Twice Guyver, varsity assistant. All 3 at full stipends. Rich Paget and Braden Howald as volunteer assistants. The middle school coaches positions at this time would be Andrew Houch, Bryce Manning, and Kane Oskatharp, all as volunteers. Boys soccer, David Hay is head varsity coach and Clint Schultz is assistant coach, both with full stipend. Girls soccer, Chad Western head coach, Brian Willis assistant coach, both at full stipend. Kyle McCutcheon, Lexi Smith, and Kennedy Willis as volunteer coaches. Volleyball, Stephanie Shedd is head varsity coach, full stipend. Erica Vintage and Izzy Luker as volunteer coaches. 8th grade coach, Emily Cherry. 7th grade coach, Tiffany Horner. 6th grade coach, Abby Aldrich, full stipend. Boys tennis, Brent Beck, head coach, full stipend. Bob Collins, assistant coach, full stipend. Girls golf, Jared Gideon, head coach, and Dane Welch, assistant coach, both with full stipend. Joe Burkhart as a volunteer assistant. Cross country, Randy Graham, boys and girls head coach. Will Tigg, assistant coach, both at full stipend. It's Avery Wiseman, volunteer assistant. Hallie Powers, middle school, boys and girls head coach. Andrew Taurus, middle school assistant, both at full stipend. Cheer, Danielle Carter, head varsity coach, full stipend. Nicole Arnold, varsity assistant, full stipend. 8th grade coach, Amy Van Meter. 7th grade coach, Crystal Benefield, both full stipend. 6th grade coach to be determined. Swimming, Doug Bailey, head boys and girls varsity coach. Baseball, Dave Chestnut, head coach, full stipend. Chase Redio and Brad Redio, volunteer assistant. Chase Davis, sorry. You can tell I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm muttering at Coach Val right
You can
now.
read just.
Just so y'all know. Okay, softball, Dave Pipes, head coach, full stipend. Nick Willis, Josh Fiskus, Carson Pipes, and Megan Howard, all volunteers. Boys golf, Jared Gideon, you already read that one.
Yep.
Girls tennis,
That's boys. And this is boys golf.
is Jared doing girls?
Yes. Did I put boys both?
Yeah. Is Dana's assistant
Yes.
for girls?
Yes.
Okay. So girls golf.
Okay.
Jared Gideon, head coach, Dana Welch, assistant coach, both full stipend. Joe Burkhart, volunteer assistant. Girls tennis, Nicole Griffith, head coach, Brittany Beasterfield, assistant coach, both full stipend. Track, Chris Kramer, head boys and girls, coach, full stipend. Okay, now, high school boys basketball, Michael Hopkins, varsity head coach, full stipend, and he is here to meet you all. And boys and girls wrestling, Dexter Brothers, varsity head coach, full stipend. So he is also here this evening. And that was it.
It's a bunch.
I will make a motion to approve all.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on coaches?
It's a lot of coaches.
Yes. All in favor, raise your hand. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yes.
So, and Dustin, we're gonna do this by seasons.
From now on.
I like it, Dustin.
Well, so- I
think
you know what? I'm glad with this, because that way we don't have to do it mid-season, whatever. I'm fine with
I
it.
think at one time we even asked for this.
Yes, we did.
No, that's
We
great.
have, but yeah.
It's a lot to
gonna
line
be
up.
very helpful
Yes.
in getting that out there and done in a little bit.
All right.
And I know they all went summer programs, so that's good. Thank you, guys.
Professional leave.
Yeah.
All right, Heather? Administrative comments. Who's first?
Thank you.
Pam.
We had 0 member reporting to the anonymous link this month. Congratulations goes to Mrs. Knust for passing her Praxis 5205. As you know, Indiana passed a law where our teachers who teach reading, when they renew their license, have to have 80 hours of science of reading and pass the Praxis. So she completed those requirements and even created a little study sheet for everybody. We celebrated Mrs. Ficklin today, who has been at our school for many, many years. And it was great to see her, and our staff had lunch and had some visitors, so that was very nice. Swing choir visited. They do an amazing job, and the students just absolutely loved it, singing songs and just interacting with the elementary students. Our life skills students enjoyed a trip to Holiday World, and Mrs. Long, she does an amazing job with them, and she said they were so good and had an absolute blast. Our robotics club, under the coaching of Mrs. Strong, she had a family event after school celebrating the accomplishments of the year, and that was well attended, and we appreciate that she took the initiative, and I think purchased snacks and all kinds of things for everybody. Our Soul Sisters group had their 1 mile run walk at the school, and it was well attended, and the weather was beautiful this week for them to do that, and it was just great to see those girls. And after they finished, and some of them finished earlier and were going back to help and cheer on the others, so that was great to see. Assessment wise, we finished iLearn and then started what they call summer 1 of iRead for 2nd graders who scored on track, and then 3rd graders who haven't passed yet. The 3rd graders will get another opportunity once they attend summer school to take it, and then 2nd graders will attend summer school if they scored at risk. So we're in the process of finishing up that summer 1 this week for iRead, in the midst of all the fun things that are happening. Let's see, there was something else. We've had several field trips that all the students, and the local ones, are just as meaningful and enjoyable. Some students went to the library, some students walked to Petersburg Hardware, and they do fun activities and actually do some math activities. So it's a learning thing that they participate in, and so that's been really nice for our first graders. But I want to end with a story that we received an email or a message this week. Our fifth graders went to the Otters game. Our PTO helps fund that along with the parents. But we had an educator from Evansville leave a message with our school counselor about an incident that happened there. One of their students was in the restroom and was very upset. I guess it was a student with special needs. And two of our girls went into the restroom and started talking to her and complimenting her. And they didn't know her from Adam. And it really made an impact on this educator so much that she took the time to contact us and let us know about that. She just knew, she didn't know who they were, but she just knew from their shirts that they were from our school because we always wear those PES shirts when we go on field trips. So that was really telling of what I see every day, but not everyone sees. And it was nice that someone pointed it out and just took the time to do that.
That's awesome.
Our students
Yep.
are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Thank you.
Yep. Mr. Meyer.
Good evening, how is everybody?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. We're doing our character education this month is begin with the end in mind. So a lot of setting goals and planning ahead for the future aspirations we've been talking about. Of course, that comes with the I Learn cumulative. All the students took that. And again, I Read 3, as Ms. Pancake said, we're getting through that. I've been getting to help out, test some students individually myself. And boy, they're giving their best effort. And it just shows how hard our students work. I think that doesn't go unrecognized. We had our staff appreciation week last week and got really good feedback. We did, I don't know if anybody's seen the TV show Traders, but it was about that. You're either one or the other. And so they had a lot of fun with that, really participated well, and got good feedback on that. So it's fun. Just to echo on the swing choir, they came, had so much fun with that. We also had My Favorite Lady PTO dance, had a really good turnout for that. Ton of people there for that. We've got our last STEM day. We're doing Fun in the Sun, focused on sports science. So we'll have 6 different stations that students will rotate through. They got a little passport, and they'll be getting stamps for things like nutrition. They're gonna do like exercises, healthy eating. So it should be fun next week. We've also got field day, field trips coming up, awards assembly, promotion. So it is a busy season for sure. Shout out to Miss Salee for the winning that grant. She wrote that a while ago, so she was really excited about getting that. Each student at school will get another book to add to their library going into the summer. And then as a component of it, she's actually participating with them, so they'll send her feedback. So she'll be part of the kind of journey of a book it kind of thing. If you guys remember that from back in the day. And then we have our AI computer science grant that we've still been working on. We've got 4 building level champions that have been selected, and they've been working on offline computer science kits. I think that's an important aspect of this too, is that we get a lot of stuff from the state pushing back on the amount of screen time, but you still want to upscale those skills, but not always in person. So it's nice to have that offline component where they can still learn about computer science without having to have the screen in front of them at all times.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey there, everybody.
Good, how are you?
Okay. Let's start off with a lot of our CTE stuff. Precision machining program was very successful with Skills USA state competition. Tyler Collins had the highest score in the milling portion of the contest. Congratulations to Mr. Scott and those kids. Friday, April 10th was also a good day for Pike Central Engineering and Precision Machining students at the STEM Challenge held at Oakland City. 3 teams from Pike competed for it. There were 28 total teams there. We had 3. Congratulations to Jaron Woolsey, Sam McConnell, Maddox Garrett, and Tyler Collins, who took home 4 awards. Also, a couple other teams consisting of Tucker Lovelace, Ian Schultz, Vivian Frazier, Katie Sims, Caden Kroom, Caden Van Meter, Wyatt Cannon, Xander McAtee. The reason I say all that is because we had a lot of kids like I've said before, we hang our hat on the CTE out there, and we got a lot of kids that participated in these events. The welding team went to the Midwest tournament and took home first place. So congratulations to Cody and those boys. Josiah is a senior representative on that team, Josiah Ross. Special thank you to Pike Collision and the Gaskin family for sponsorship and donations. Construction trade classes received many more orders. I don't know if you guys have seen on Facebook, they had a lot of cedar boxes that were out there, kind of overwhelmed by the county in people that wanted them. And I think they actually had to kind of cut production, so to speak. But that's just one more of the things that we offer the county out of Pike Central with our kids. And speaking of that, Mr. Howald's class is creating a wooden sign that's going to be hung up at me patio. It's done. They're kind of finishing it up, and it'll end up being hung up at me patio from our kids there. PC broadcasting team, first time I've been a part of it, but Miss Bonard's kids went over to Jasper, put on a movie. It's a 5-minute movie. It was fantastic. It was a fun night. Going over there and seeing those kids and the production that they had created. If you guys get a chance to see it, I can send it to you, or Miss Bonert will. It's worth a 5-minute watch. It's funny. Anyway, good job by them. Riley Dance Marathon went off well again this year. $23,000 to Riley from our kids. Prom went off on April 25th. Great experience. Good night. First time I've ever been a part of that. Head hit the pillow about 3 o'clock that morning. But it was a lot of fun. Choir concert May 3rd, fantastic. Band concert May 9th, fantastic. We were just recognized recently as a Project Lead the Way Distinguished Program. I think it's about 5, 6, X number of years in a row. That's all we do, produce excellence out there. Work-based learning is going to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Friday. Mr. Lamey's taking these seniors to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so that'll be a cool day. Congratulations to Maya Hudson. All of our athletes have had a good spring, but Maya Hudson continues to break her own record in the 100 hurdles. And so she's the girls are at PAC right now. So hopefully they're doing well. And the boys are going on Thursday, and basically we're coming up on tourney season, so there's going to be something going on about the next 3 weeks. Pike Central High School with our kids. Speaking of our kids, we took our seniors bowling on Friday. That was a great day as well. I want to echo Melissa in that every time I go someplace with my kids, when we walk out, the people compliment our kids every single time. We don't have issues. But every single time we go somewhere, we get complimented when we leave that place, and that's just nice to hear those things. We got 2 new coaches tonight. Congratulations, Michael. We will help with the wardrobe, but that is fantastic what you guys are going with. Pal will take care of that. We'll get you some stuff. There you go.
He's not joking.
Anyway, congratulations. Those are good things right there. Good hires right there for Pike Central. And finally, last Friday night, what a great night! Our first annual, hope to be annual Pike Central Night Out. I want to thank High Banks and all of the donors. I don't have them all right here. Dawn posted them on Facebook. Check it out. If you get a chance to see them, go thank them. I want to thank all of you for allowing us to kind of take off with that. It was a lot of fun, a lot of laughing. I remember one point I just said, just listen. I mean, there's just a lot of laughing and good times. And so I thank you guys for letting us kind of launch that, and the community for coming out and turning out and just all the support we've gotten. So, and all that's going to go right back into the kids. So everything we talked about, it's going to go back into the classroom or to help kids do different things. And then our goal is to hopefully start like an education foundation for all of the schools that we can all kind of be a part of. So anyway,
Thank you.
That's the high school.
Thank you.
Evening.
Good evening, how are you?
All right, how are you? All right, try to hurry, but I've got a lot of stuff because it's the end of the year and everything is, crazy and going on. We did finish up our iLearn testing. During that time, we also tried to do some fun things to keep the kids, excited about coming to school because, sometimes testing can get a little, cumbersome. So we did do some spirit days. We also had some undercover staff days. So the kids didn't know what the staff dress up day was or what was going on. And then they had to try to figure out what the theme was or whatever. It was kind of fun to see them guess.
Taylor Swift days, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, they had, we had each grade level, had to come up with kind of their own theme. And so everybody within that grade level had to dress something accordingly. And then the kids had to figure out how all of those pieces fit together to go in with that theme. And it was neat to see the kids guess, and they did a pretty good job, actually. Some of them come up with the answers pretty quickly. So we did have our teacher appreciation. Of course, like all the other schools, we had our dinner that we always do. Our Sunshine Committee helped us with that week too. That we have our new Sunshine Committee that I've talked about before, but they did a good job of helping spread cheer as well during that week. We have welcomed several students from the elementary schools individually. Sometimes, they need a little bit different atmosphere in order to be able to come to experience, the school for the first time based upon their individual needs or whatever. So we've accommodated that over the last couple of weeks and have enjoyed getting to meet them and show them around. We are welcoming the fifth grade tomorrow for our orientation, and we're going to attempt to have our track meet again. Last year, we had it all planned and ready to go, and we were super excited, and then the storms were we just couldn't have it. But we're all ready, and we hope that we'll get to do that, and I think the kids are excited about it. Let's see, we have also been working on coordinating with the fifth grade teachers. So our sixth grade teachers have information about the kids that are coming in, any certain things that we might need to know about, what makes them tick and what we need to know to help them to be successful as they transition into their new school. We started that several years ago, and it has been very, very beneficial. Sometimes there are certain situations maybe with their home life that we want to be sensitive to, or maybe they struggle with this academically, but they are amazing in this area. And so trying to focus on their strengths and really make them feel positive about those. So we do try to get all of that information before they come in. A couple of years after we started that, we decided to also start doing that with our incoming seventh graders and our eighth graders. And that has been very beneficial as well. So we've been working on getting all of that information shared with our teachers as well. Our videos are completed. The PC Broadcasting completed videos for us. They came around and did interviews, took different shots throughout the building to prepare the CARS group. One of the things that they had mentioned was that they would like a little bit more information as far as the kids coming into sixth grade, the parents being able to just feel a little bit more confident about their kid coming to the big school. So we were able to get the broadcasting class to help us with that. So we have a video that's specifically for the parents, and we have a video that's for the kids, and just to kind of help with both aspects of that. Our field trips, we have sixth grades going to Wilston, seventh grade is going to the Fun Center, and eighth grade, they're going to go to Holiday World. Like the other said, choir and band concerts, those are amazing. Miss Trailer and Mr. Bunker do an amazing job with our kids and highlighting the many talents that we have. Track, boys and girls track this year. I mean, I'm telling you what, they're kicking butt on the track this year. At PAC on Saturday, we had Neva Schilling, Wyatt Gayhart, Blake Houchins. They all set records, and that means my time is up, I guess.
boys, they finished second, and the girls finished third at PAC. So
13 teams, right?
13 teams. 13 teams and second and third. That's
impressive.
That's great. And let's see. I also want to say thank you to Miss Gullidge. You're just going to be gone for a year, right? But I mean, regardless, it just she does a great job for us. We appreciate everything that she's done. So I just want to make sure that I did mention her. We do appreciate her. And then last but not least, going along with what all the other administrators have said about our kids. Our kids are amazing. Our 7th grade swing choir, they went to the nursing homes today to sing. Our 7th grade choir, we've just been doing that for a couple of years, but our 7th grade choir this year, they're really, really good. And so I've been excited that we've been able to add that piece to so that they have that experience before they get into 8th grade. Because before it was just 8th grade, so now they have that extra year. The 8th grade course goes to Indianapolis, but the 7th grade didn't really get to do anything. So Miss Traylor wanted to start getting to do something with them. So she decided to go out into the community and sing. The Lakewood home, she went there today. She said that she was so proud of the kids. They went around and talked to every single one of the residents there.
Awesome.
And shared stories with them. They were saying how they wanted them to come back. They were like, is there a way that, you're just right through the woods. Could you just come through, and maybe we could set it up like a different group comes every month or something to visit us. And Traylor said, well, we'll see what we can do. I think that's a great idea. Getting youth with, older people in the community, that's a great way to share stories. And there's a lot that we learn from the elderly in our community. And then there's also a lot that could be learned from our kids too. Yep. So, but along with that, I'm just always proud of the feedback that we get from our kids as well. A long time ago, whenever I was a student and an athlete here many, many years ago, I was always taught that when you put that jersey on, that means something, and you're representing Pike Central. You're a Charger, and you want to make sure that you're doing that in an appropriate way. And so I feel like when our kids go out someplace and they're representing Pike Central and they're wearing that PC on their shirt, that it means something, and they wear that with pride. And I appreciate that, and I hope that we can just continue to instill that in them, because Pike County is a great place to be. So thank you.
Comments. I want to go ahead and note the school board will be holding a public hearing at our June 9th meeting. That is one of the statutory requirements before approving a new superintendent contract, is there has to be a public meeting where community is allowed to give input. So that will be posted publicly, both in the newspaper and on our website in advance. And then there will be that opportunity on the 9th, and then before we get started with our regular meeting. So just giving you a heads up. I know there's a lot of different speculation and chatter going on. I wanted to let you know that things are in progress, but this is a key part before the board can approve the next step. So just wanted to go ahead and let people know on that. Also wanted to let you all know that tomorrow, Sheriff McKinney, Don Limcooler, and myself are going to be attending a safety conference in Indianapolis. We're presenting 2 of the sessions tomorrow. The first one in the morning is embracing school safety while maintaining a welcoming school environment. And the second one is in the afternoon, is taking on the challenges of reunification after a crisis. We actually submitted 3 proposals and 2 were accepted. So we're pretty excited. Yeah. And we also present again in June at another safety conference. So we've talked before about wanting to get the word out. I think here's a few pieces of things to start. And again, we'll be looking at how we can share this with our community and do so without compromising any of the features that we have.
The other one, and I decided I'm gonna do this because it's Mrs. Gullidge. So she brought this on herself.
Uh-oh.
So apparently, I'm not sure what she's taught her sixth graders, but there was a paper forwarded to me today. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take these off. It does start off that this group of sixth graders feel like they've been lied to and bamboozled. So I'm not sure who got that word. We were told no more testing. Instead, we were tricked and bewildered, and we demand the truth and nothing else. Mrs. Gullidge. We should bring this to the highest power, so that's why I'm sharing it with you tonight. We demand no work on Fridays, no NWEA, no assigned seats in the classroom, and this is mandatory, a movie and popcorn every 2 months. So, Ms. Gullidge, you can go back tomorrow and tell your students that it was read at the school board meeting, but we don't know what the outcome's gonna be.
They will certainly appreciate that.
I'm sure they will.
Just make demands with
Your
no.
granddaughter, man, that's a
My granddaughter, just a little bit, except for her father. So, I don't have anything else.
All right, board member comments.
Yeah, I have a comment or two. And I go 2 meetings in a row without not saying something. That's a shocker, but, you know, I think when I hear all administrators talk, what great kids we have in a great corporation, we can't let one poor judgment define who we are, okay? We're Chargers, and Dexter, you already know that, Coach. You're gonna become a Charger now, okay? And we take some pride in that, and maybe we've lost a little bit of that pride, but we're going to get it back, okay? And we're going to get better, and we're in some seriously tough times, numerous situations, but, you know, I just joined in July, and they're like, thank God, because he just joined in July. But I'm going to run again, okay? In the next election, I will be on the ballot for my seat. And it could be easy just to say, you know, whoo, I mean, a lot of stuff happened in 8 months. And I could just say, I'm going to go home and not worry about it anymore. But I can't do that because I think we're making progress. We may have stubbed our toe, but we're going to get better. And I think when it's all said and done in 4 years, surely to God, I can have pancakes with Mrs. Pancake, right? That's one of my goals. I got shut out this year. So not putting pressure on you, but you know, I'm going to want some pancakes. Let's just say I win. Absolutely. But I just think, you know, it's easy to point out one bad thing and then that's all we get blasted on Facebook. And I think Dylan's right. We need to get organized more on our social media where we share all the good things. I share good things all the time. We're the breaking the track record, the welding team, whoever. We're very successful. I don't think we're perceived that way, but you know, I think in time we're going to be, you know, I mean, we are now, but I think it's going to get better. So I want you to hang in there and keep going forward. And I think it's going to be a great corporation when we're all done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wait, I approve that message, by the way.
You're here.
Well, sorry.
You're here.
Only I'll say is we lost a good Pike County into Sunday. The lady, she taught at Otwell High School back in the 60s and 70s. Was our secretary at Winslow Elementary the entire time I went there, and I can still look at her, and she would point at me and she says, "You've been a good kid today, right?" And that's Carrie Cooper. And keep her family in your prayers, please, because I know it was a rough loss. And she was a good lady and meant a lot to this corporation.
Absolutely.
I will say, sorry, I failed to mention her, but when we were at Otwell, Nelda was going through some things, you know, in her personal life. Karen came in and she worked and she filled in for Nelda. She did a great job. She was there every day. She was always asking what she could do to help, answer the phones, things like that. I mean, she just volunteered to be there because she wanted to be there to help and, you know, be a part of what was going on. So, yes, I very much appreciated her. Great lady. So.
Well, if there'll be nothing else, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, raise your hand. Meeting adjourned.
Wow.
Yeah, we will be reconvening back into executive.
We're gonna do 5 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Live stream.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.